The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen have been extremely disappointing, at least compared to their preseason expectations. Let me make this very clear. The Bills are still a very, very good football team, but that doesn't mean they haven't been disappointing at times. But first, thank you to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. When you're looking for a gift that everyone needs, Raycon's the way to go. Their wireless earbuds, headphones, and speakers offer premium sound, useful features, an almost custom comfortable fit, and up to 54 hours of battery life. And as the person giving them, you gotta love that they start at half the price of other premium audio brands. You can even get 30% off by shopping for Raycon's holiday bundles. My favorite bundle by far is the gaming bundle, where you get both gaming earbuds and a gaming headset. Jackson and I have been playing a lot of video games lately in our free time, and that's just perfect for us. Everyone needs a pair of Raycons, whether it's for listening to music, taking work calls, or working out. And you're going to get the best deal when you use our special link, buyraycon.com/JD Productions. Click the link down in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/JD Productions and use code EARLYBF to get 20% off site-wide, or save even bigger with 30% off of Raycon's exclusive holiday bundles. There will also be different deals coming out throughout the entire season, so I'll try to keep the description box updated for you guys, but you can always go to buyraycon.com/JD Productions to get the best available deals on Raycons. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring today's video, and let's get right back to it. Buffalo is supposed to be the best team in the NFL. As a matter of fact, the Bills were tied for the highest expected win total odds in the preseason at 11.5. Buffalo by far had the best odds ahead of the season at plus 550. Only one other team had better odds at plus 1,000. Plus, 19% of bets on DraftKings Sportsbook were on Buffalo. No other team had more than 7%. As you can tell, the Bills were expected to be insane this season. And while they have been good at times, that just hasn't been the case. Buffalo is 6-3, has lost 2 straight, and is 3rd in the AFC East. The Bills are going to make the playoffs, and they certainly could make some noise if they get there. But the reality is, Buffalo is not even close to as good as we expected, and the same goes for Josh Allen. Josh Allen has looked like a very different player after the Bills' Week 7 bye. In the first 6 weeks of the season, Allen threw for about 2,000 yards and 17 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, while completing 67% of his passes. He graded out as the best quarterback in the league at 83.5. Since the bye, he's graded out at just 62.1, good for 20th in the league. His stat line post-bye looks rough too. 58.8 completion percentage, 753 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Yes, Josh Allen has thrown 6 interceptions in 3 games. He has a total of 10 on the season, which is the most in the NFL. Buffalo went into their bye 5-1. And while they did come out and beat the Packers in Week 8, they've lost 2 straight to the Jets and Vikings. And that Minnesota loss looked pretty bad for Josh Allen. Allen couldn't have been much worse in clutch time. His most important play was a Gabe Davis catch that wasn't actually a catch, and the league just didn't review it. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins looked great. Kirk Cousins outplaying Josh Allen is not exactly what you would have expected in a battle between 2 of the best teams in football. There were essentially 3 big blunders by Josh Allen late. The first came with a little over 10 minutes left in regulation, with the Bills up 10. Buffalo decided to go for it on 4th and 2. Allen scrambled out to the right and pump faked before essentially throwing right at Patrick Peterson. Dawson Knox was back there, but there really wasn't a throw there, and it cost the Bills a lot of field position. Then, with less than a minute left in the game, the Vikings only had 1 timeout, and the Bills got the ball after a turnover on downs at their own 1. Buffalo was up 4, and all they needed to do was not screw it up, and that just didn't happen. Josh Allen fumbled the snap, and Eric Kendricks recovered it for a touchdown. That simply just can't happen. The game went to overtime, and the Vikings got the ball first and hit a field goal. Then, Josh Allen got an opportunity to lead a game-winning drive. Buffalo was on the Minnesota 20, threatening to score to win the game, and on a 2nd and 10, I don't really know what Josh Allen saw. I think he's trying to hit Gabe Davis, but the ball just goes throws right to Patrick Peterson to end the game, a costly fumble, and 2 red zone interceptions. Josh Allen actually has 4 red zone picks in the last 2 weeks. That's just bad. I do want to at least mention the UCL injury. Josh Allen suffered an elbow injury late in that Jets loss, and it was a big question of whether or not he'd even play against Minnesota. Doctors did say that he couldn't do any more damage to it, so Allen played through it. It's important to bring up, but it's not an excuse, because the reality is that he was making bad decisions before the injury too. It feels impossible for an offense to have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Dawson Knox be so bad, especially against teams that most would say shouldn't have beaten them in the first place. Stephon Diggs is still him. Already in 9 games this season, Diggs has 985 yards and 7 touchdowns on 72 receptions. Gabe Davis has 544 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's been good, but I did expect a lot more from him. Dawson Knox has 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's a very good tight end too, who probably doesn't get enough credit. The offensive line hasn't been amazing, but they have been a little better than expected. Right now, the Bills have graded out tied for the 17th best pass blocking unit and the 27th best run blocking unit. The Bills have definitely struggled running the ball. Their top rusher is Josh Allen with almost 500 yards. Devin Singletary has almost 400 yards, and then nobody else has really done much. James Cook hasn't seen a ton of usage, and Zach Moss didn't either, which is probably why Buffalo traded him to the Colts in a deal for Nyheim Hines. It was no secret that the Bills tried to make a play for Christian McCaffrey, but it just didn't work out. The Bills did look like they were living up to the hype early in the year. The NFL season kicked off on that Thursday night, and the Bills played the Rams and absolutely blew them out. Buffalo turned around and beat the hell out of the Titans 41-7. The only loss the Bills suffered before the bye was against the Dolphins, where somehow, in a miracle, Miami came back to beat Buffalo. The Bills won their next 3 games, and 2 of those were against some of the best teams in football. The other was a blowout win over the Steelers. The Bills beat the Ravens in a really close game, and easily the biggest dub came against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. That was a huge win for them, and I think they were kind of avenging that divisional game in February. After the bye though, it's been rough. Buffalo beat Green Bay out of the bye, but lost back-to-back to the Jets and of course, Minnesota. Looking at the other side of the ball, the Vikings had their way with the Bills' defense, especially through the air. Justin Jefferson had almost 200 yards and a touchdown, plus who could forget that insane catch that he had? That may be the best I've ever seen. Buffalo has had some issues on the defensive side of the ball, and it hasn't been hard to figure out why. The secondary. The Bills have 2 elite safeties on the roster, but it does no good if they aren't playing. Micah Hyde is out for the year with a neck injury, and the Bills have been without Jordan Poyer. The secondary problems are way bigger than that too. Tre'Davious White is currently injured, but he should be back soon. Kaiir Elam, the Bills' first-round rookie, has also been out, but should return soon too. Buffalo is going to have to figure things out without Hyde. But the good news is that defense is eventually going to get back to pretty much full strength. Even now, the Bills do have a very good defense. There have been blips in coverage, but for the most part, the Bills' defense is still elite. Right now, Buffalo is rated as a top 10 unit in the league, 5th best in coverage and 2nd best pass rush. The Bills have their issues right now, but let's be real, they're going to be just fine. Buffalo has the talent to make a deep run in the playoffs no matter what, and there's no doubt in my mind they'll be in the postseason. It will be interesting to see how the AFC East plays out. The Dolphins seriously might take the division, especially if Tua doesn't die again. That means there's a very good chance that the Bills are going to have to slave away on the road in the playoffs. The Bills really are just so talented though. Buffalo will figure things out, and I think the biggest part of that might be Josh Allen not making bonehead decisions. He was supposed to be a potential MVP winner, and he's seriously destroyed that campaign in the last 3 weeks. But even if he somehow falls apart, which I wouldn't count on, Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa are still way ahead of Josh Allen too. He's been disappointing, just like the Bills. The Buffalo Bills were supposed to be the best team in football, and Josh Allen was supposed to be the MVP. Instead, the Bills are good, but not great, and Josh Allen is struggling, and that's disappointing.